Hello and welcome to Hudson Records Listening Club. This is what we're going to be listening to and speaking about. Oh, it'll be backwards. That'll make it even more interesting. No? It is the album Northern Flyway, and we are Northern Flyway. Jenny?
Hello, I'm Jenny Sturgeon, and the rest of the people in the team are Sarah Hayes, who is in one of these boxes around here, and Inge Thomson. And Jason Singh is the other person involved who isn't with us, unfortunately, this evening, but he sends his love and we send it back to him too. So, yeah, should we get rolling?
Mm-hmm.
I've never felt separate from it. I've always felt like it's a part of me and I'm a part of it.
That was Helen there. Helen Moncrief.
And the Hooper Swans.
Significance of soil and soul. We cross the earth in streaming droves. A sudden urge to make this flight. A surge towards the growing northern light. Fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away, fly away. Nature moving on the way. A primal core bone deep within. Movement with the gathering storm. Chorus brings another dawn with the passing fly.
It's bringing back all the imagery from the show, the live show. It's really nice to hear it all again.
Like magnets on a northern core.
So anybody who's not seen the show, the live show has visuals, beautiful footage. Most of it was contributed from Scotland, The Big Picture.
Signature down in cells. Tooth and talon break the shell. Ringing for the seasoned life. Impulse drives the cycle, sky ascending.
And there's all these magical little bits from Jason doing his soundscape magic, wizardry. Like the fluttering wings and...
Yeah, you can hear them kind of going across the landscape.
Whoosh, all the whooshes and bubbles and yeah.
Is that the wave drum?
That's the wave drum, yep. I think there's just two settings on the wave drum there, just a banging it. And Jenny's on the harmonium as well there.
pumping it like crazy.
And most of the bird songs that you can hear was provided for us by Magnus Robb, one of the sound recordists for The Sound Approach. We were very lucky in getting such amazing, really exquisite recordings of birdsong to work with.
Yeah, it's crystal clear, a lot of it, isn't it? Just we initially got had a wish list of all the bird songs, and they were sent to us via the internet, and it was great fun getting to write and arrange and play with the bird calls and take inspiration from those. And
and there were thousands. I remember Magnus saying when we had written down our little list of of the birds that we'd like some songs from, and him saying, well, what are you after? Because there's all, obviously there's alarm call, there's mating call, there's all these different...
Of course. Yeah.
So for each bird, he was going, well, I've got thousands of recordings of this. So that took a bit of filtering through, just getting the right sound. Yeah, so next we've got the rosefinch. And we've got a lovely little introduction by Joe Carroll here. Oh, yeah. Joe was our, at the time, 9-year-old expert. And he, in the interviews, he was just brilliant because he was so full of passion. And I think the little clips kind of bring a little bit of his passion into them.
Birds are really delicate too. Like, you would think that they're really hardy, but they're delicate. They're living.
Love it.
I think that was one of the lovely things about the gigs as well. You can feel the audience reaction to the voice samples. You can feel a smile coming back from them.
Yeah. It was lovely, and I remember particularly when we did the premiere at the Wood End Barn, and Joe was in the audience, and everybody was like, because they got to, it was like he was a little hero, like an extra member of the band. Yeah. It was beautiful.
In full sight, will you link little fingers to split my...
And I love that mimicry that you do on the accordion, Inge. It's so special and clever. It just absolutely works. It's great. When we first all got together, we had was it 5 days up at Wood End Barn in Banchory to bring everything together. I remember the gig was on the Saturday, I think, and we got there on the Monday. It was a little bit terrifying, but it just kind of came together. Well, that's my recollection of it. It seemed to come together really quickly, working with such brilliant folk.
Yeah, it was one of those projects that, although we had an idea of what the material was, we didn't really have a clear idea of arrangement or anything like that, and that all just happened in that few days.
To return to the edge of the steps, reunite with
it was a great week, wasn't it?
Where you caught
Jason's
as you flew with
beats here really just tie this whole tied together. I remember when we were working on it, when he was trying different things out. That's the one.
That's the one. And you can't help but be really cheery listening to it.
To the sky with a scheme to defy and abide or go under.
Yeah, it was always really good fun playing this live as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think that's the nice thing about the live gigs as well. It changed every single night that we did it to some extent, and there's nights when this was kind of everybody sort of dancing about a wee bit.
For shame, or were you too humble?
It's great hearing it again.
It is.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Did you blush?
That's a brilliant noise that Jason does there. Don't know how he does it.
Or were you too humble to show off your colours?
Can you remember what the other bird was there, Jenny? It was rosefinch. Was it goldfinches as well?
Well, there might be a goldfinch in there. I had a quick look through the track listings before we had our chat, and I was trying to remember all the different birds on all the things, and I used to know. It was pretty. I found it quite amazing doing this project though, because beforehand, I couldn't really identify any birds by bird call, and it's something I'd always wanted to be able to do. And having, I think, sat and listened and also looked at the bird calls using the sonogram software that we looked at, I can now identify a lot of birds from their bird calls. Still not loads, but it kind of adds another dimension to go into a walk.
Yeah.
I definitely got better on it too. But also speaking to people about, for instance, all of the sort of, what's the word for it? The superstitions surrounding some of the birds. And I remember speaking to you, Sarah, about it, and you said you always salute to the magpies. And I'd never even heard of saluting to magpie before, but I do it now. And I do it like you. I sometimes just kind of like,
I've passed on the paranoia.
Yeah.
My job
that
is
might
done.
be it. That's brilliant. But it's great to inherit someone else's superstitions along the way.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting, the whole.
Where does that come
whole
from?
journey.
Like, what's the superstition? Just that it's good luck, or a respect thing, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Do not know. But I'll keep doing it, just in case.
So what have we got next? No barriers, no borders.
Yeah, this one starts with a voice sample as well from some friends in Aberdeen, and I went round and interviewed both of them, and they were having a debate over what the best bird was. And I really love what Mark says in this opening bit. And yeah, no barriers, no borders, kind of written from a bird's perspective, or from a person's perspective watching birds fly over, the fact that they don't have barriers and borders.
Cities are an important habitat for birds too. It's also nice just mixing man with nature in the cities.
Swifts. I think everyone's favourite bird is a swift. What's your favourite bird?
Not a swift.
Oh, yeah.
On the way.
They're late to arrive, they're early to leave.
On the way.
Have any of you guys seen a swift yet this year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not yet.
A handful out the back. Swifts and house martins.
I hear the words, but not a thing that's said. Around the walls get taller. Barriers to knowing and to parting ways. I lift my head towards the
Did you use the piano at Mariel? The
The
piano
upright.
downstairs for this one? Yeah.
Yeah. In that kind of, it's in a dressing room and you can look out onto the harbour. It's amazing.
Over walls and wires, over river and mountain, over road and border.
And Jason's zooming birds. You can hear the swifts.
Yeah.
Follow the high sun with the swift. A screech of joy or pain is hard to tell. Each day the song grows harsher. They'll get where they need before I make my way. I lift my head towards the clouds and see the birds move flying. Over walls and wire, over river and mountain, over road and border, over sea and wave. I'd like to fly like that and never touch
And you were on the dulcimer there, Jenny, weren't you?
Yeah. With a strum in the dulcimer. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not very much on it instrumentally on that one.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a lot of manipulated, swift sound in the background. But we recorded it over 3 days, is that right?
3 or 4 days.
3 or 4
Yeah,
days.
it was quite a packed
It was
time. But we did well, I think.
And it was between like 10 and 5, wasn't it? There was like everybody's going home at 5.
Yeah.
It was in February, wasn't it, at Mariel in Shetland?
It was, but we were quite lucky, weren't we? I mean, there was one snowy day, but apart from that, it was really quite crisp, clear weather, if I remember rightly.
And it was engineered by our pal Tim Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. He's the most unflappable person I think I've ever met.
He's totally
super
unflappable.
chill.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's fine, no bother.
Yeah, very handy around the croft as well.
Yes. Indeed.
So what have we got next? We've got the gannets,
Gannets.
and the top. This was one of the first ones that we kind of wrote together, Jenny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it came. The very first thing that was Sarah. Was Sarah's interview? What's Sarah's surname now?
Sarah Wanless, she was my
Sarah
old
Wanless.
PhD supervisor and a world expert in seabird, all things seabird, and she said some very poignant, beautiful things when I interviewed her, and it just kind of felt like gannets were the right thing to write a song about, and then managed to get this incredible underwater footage from a pal on Shetland called Richard Shucksmith, and I don't know if there's anywhere else in the world that does this, but he takes people come up to Shetland to film underwater as gannets dive past the camera, and it's the most unreal footage. It's just absolutely mesmerising. So
Yeah, it's superb, and what a absolute gift being able to use that footage.
yeah.
Yeah, a very, very talented filmmaker and birder.
And I think one of my favourite bits of the whole show is in this, when you guys do mimic the gannet with your flutes.
With the flutes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's really the gannets had the noise before we did.
Yeah, the gannets were
It's
brilliant
amazing,
too.
yeah.
They nailed it.
They did.
They nailed it. Okay, shall we play it?
Yeah.
Nothing so exciting, really. Nothing so exciting as a big buzzing seabird colony, which of course to some extent makes it all the more tragic when you think about what's happening to some of the colonies in Shetland, where those cliffs that 20, 30 years ago were pulsating with sound, then a lot of the time now they start to go silent. And I think, you know, for next generations, silent cliffs would be a dreadful legacy to leave them.
So Sula is the Latin name for a gannet, and Sarah did a lot of work out in St Kilda and kind of tried to create this sort of Gaelic mouth music opening part to the song, inspired by that really.
Yeah, it's a really hypnotic sort of moment in the piece.
With the gannets going in the background.
They're so amazing. Such amazing birds. Torpedoes.
Yeah. Did you play this one on the big flute, Sarah? Whatever it's called.
Just the normal.
Just the
the
normal
classic.
normal
Yeah.
flute.
Wait till later.
Okay,
big
later.
flute.
Right.
Hold your horses.
I know it's got another name, but
No, it hasn't.
no, okay.
I kind
I'll
of
just
can't.
drink some more Ribena.
Okay. You enjoy yourself.
I can't quite believe that that the gannets didn't win. I mean, I know we were rooting for the Stormies.
I know.
We were rooting for the Stormies, but the gannets.
If I was in a coma,
They deserve to win.
like that,
Yeah,
trying
they did
to
too.
reach some deep.
What was that in again? The World.
Oh, the World Cup
Cup
of Seabirds. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, talking about it again.
I sort of think.
Oh,
You're still not over it.
Still not over it. No.
So that just has to be the one which just hits deepest.
This bit is always really exciting as well because it's just about to, sort of feels like it's about to kick in with the diving.
Oh, there's a tune, of course.
Big duet.
On the medium-sized flutes.
Yeah, the Goldilocks flute.
Is there a tiny flute as well? Or is that one of those like little...
Piccolo.
Piccolo.
Oh, piccolo.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
fife.
Not
shrill.
one of those watermelon whistle.
Or like the lollies.
Yeah.
It's a watermelon whistle. See, when we were...
Such a tune, Inge.
Nice tune. When we were doing the doing the filming for this, not the filming, but editing the film together, we sat with Sandy Butler, who put the film together for us, and we didn't even have the soundtrack on at that point, and Sandy was
Making the noises.
he was making all these as he was editing, making all these brilliant sound effects.
It's a lovely little...
Woo!
Oh, and this is your hydrophone, isn't it,
yeah.
Inge? Some of those noises.
Yes. Yeah, I made a pile of sounds with a baby bath and my hydrophone and banging some pans in and out of the water, and that was a lot of fun.
It's all these, I feel like there's so many cues I remember from the live show. I'm like, what am I meant to be doing next? It's that feeling. Hang on, that reminds me,
Totally.
I'm meant to be doing something.
There's so much
So this is the Curlew.
sounds and stuff going on. I struggle to filter any of it out, so I notice absolutely everything. And it's a bit like an explosion of sex and violence.
That's Helen again, Helen Moncrief.
I love this song. Such a...
This ended up just really being a love song, really, for my parents. But it was about this pair of curlews who always came back and nested at the same place, and yet every year the male would do his mating display for his wife, even though for his mate, even though they'd been together for so many years and there was no other mate for them at the time.
Yeah.
I loved that he would go to that effort.
Says to him, my love, I'm glad of heart to fly with one so loyal. says to him, my love, why do you dance for me? I cannot for another.
So much space in that tune. It's really great. You can kind of develop it then over the songs.
My love.
Yeah, this one did fill up, didn't we, as we played it live? I mean, it kind of developed as we played. That's one of the weird things about recording at the before you actually go out on tour, really, because we'd done 2 gigs or something before we recorded it.
Yeah, because it was the Woodend Barn and then Celtic Connections, and then
Mariel. Okay, you know, that could be right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can't remember the sequence of events either. Dreadful.
So long ago now.
Says to her, my love, I dance for you alone, to chase away.
Like the last dance at the disco.
It is a wee bit.
2 curlews.
Says to her, my love,
And all the other birds at the sides of the hall, just like
On walls.
Yeah, and things like the Bonksies are all out the back smoking,
Yeah.
fighting.
Idea for a program.
Yeah, it's ramped up the reverb there. So this goes kind of straight into the Lost Lapwing, which was probably our most electronic-y one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Lapwings are my favourite birds. I should point that out now.
there's been a. Oh, sorry.
What I was going to say was, early on in this project, I wanted to replicate the noise of a lapwing using just electronic instruments. So there's a bit of that going on in here.
We also slowed down the lapwing call, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Which sounds very odd.
Again, that was before the song was written, wasn't it? It was in our experiments.
This is it, isn't it? Yeah. Some other stuff in there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it started here.
Yeah, that. It just sounds amazing. Was it slowed down by like 50% or something?
Yeah, I can't remember what percentage it was. But it looked so beautiful as well in the sonograms when we were speeding them up and slowing them down.
This one's fun to sing.
No ceremony, no homely salutation, no attempt at warmth or dare to disregard our reputation, no displays of folding, tumbling aerials concerned. The whistlers consider
Here comes Jason.
celebrity we've earned.
We've got a starling in the garden that keeps mimicking a lapwing, and I'm forever like looking around. Where's the lapwing?
Cheeky.
I know, exactly.
Absolute monkeys they are, the
We
Sterlings.
are the lost unfortunates, the wandering souls of wastrel children. We, the ghosts of men who thronged the cross with hounds of Gabriel. We who guard
So this song is really about
witches
all of the bad rap that lapwings get for everything. They've got such a terrible reputation. Which is really weird because they're a pretty inoffensive bird and they're really beautiful to watch flying in the sky. Yeah, they're very cool.
Why have they got a bad rep?
Well, they're one of the 7 whistlers, so if they sing at the same time as several other birds, of which the curlew is another one, and I think the diver, maybe the red-throated diver, I'm not sure which, but when they all sing together, it's the end of the world, so like, that's the doomsday song. But they apparently betrayed Christ on the cross. They flew around shouting "Pine Him," like to make people throw things at him. And they also apparently are the wings of witches, which is familiar, and the souls of dead unchristened children. In fact, the list is
The list is
endless.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're only a wee bird.
Yeah, they're lovely.
Flow gently, sweet Afton, among thy green braes. Flow gently, I'll sing thee a song in thy praise. My Mary's asleep by the murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet Afton, disturb not her dream. Thou stock dove whose echo resounds through the glen, ye wild whistling blackbird in yon thorny den, thou green-crested lapwing, thy screaming forbear. I charge you disturb not my slumbering
A really bonny delivery, Jenny. Of course, this was written by our national bard, wasn't it not? Mm-hmm. Robbie Burns. And when we did this live, we would always laugh before the next one because of the mood change.
Yeah. No, the vacation.
So it goes into We Are the Morning.
Possibly the cheeriest song ever written.
Yeah.
With the best medium flute solo I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Was it a medium flute?
We welcome the light, marks the end of the night. Snowdrops and crocus, white crisp and warm eggs.
Just all those lovely little bits you play there. It's great.
Roots in the air.
So good.
Remember in the gigs though, when it was time for this moment, it would be like, about to take a run up, don't know what's going to happen.
Some brilliant noises, brilliant sounds from Jason now.
Of course, you'd have to put the flute down really quickly.
Yeah, I just throw it away.
An explosion of feeling.
I love the roads.
It's
my favourite.
Brilliant.
It's not a cheerier sound, is there, I don't think, than the roads.
Played like that.
Yeah.
Wolf away from the door, though he's never gone far. nestlings all done to the soft dewy ground, spiral tumbling down, time lapsing quicken, but as fast as we're falling.
So cheery.
It's really cheery.
Song, you might blink and we're gone.
Did you write this one together? The two of you, how did it?
No,
how
it
did
was.
you do it?
I think it was all you, Jenny, wasn't it? We just we changed the lines about.
I think you had the part, like the accordion part.
Well, yeah, I think.
And then
I think the melody was mostly or a
And you sent
joint
it, I
effort.
think you sent it over, and I just had some words that seemed to fit fit quite well, and then we just cut and pasted them.
Yeah,
and
sugared them around a wee bit.
Yeah. Love this bit. That last little note is so good.
Yeah. Well, we would go into the break, wouldn't we? Just like all going just in really happy mode. It was it's a good way,
that was
good antidote.
interval time in the show.
Yeah.
So then we're into the top of the next set, which was the Eagle.
So this one was adapted from the Alfred Lord Tennyson poem The Eagle, a Fragment, and it was only two verses long, so just added some more words, and got some. It kind of in terms of the bird calls, the idea was to start off low in the Scots pine forest and then get higher and higher up the mountain until you get to the eagle. And there's another beautiful little bit of interview from Joe, isn't there, in this one?
But it's so there are a lot of birds here at the top, so I think any birders,
might be able to tell you what some of them are, but not all of them.
Yeah, maybe that's better. I was going to say write them down on a postcard, but I don't know where I could go with that. So yeah.
So there's crested tit and osprey to start with. That's the osprey.
The white-tailed eagles are critically endangered. It's amazing because they do twirl in the air, fight with seagulls, and it's really beautiful just because they're so massive.
How do you feel?
Excited. I don't know how to explain. You feel really excited. Your heart leaps into your throat.
Red grouse and the ptarmigan doing the cracking sound.
He clasps the crag with crooked hands close to the sun in lonely lands, ringed with azure world proud he stands, a fragment of the past. The wrinkled sea beneath him crawls, he watches from his mountain walls, and like a thunderbolt he falls, a fragment of the past.
Big flute.
Gold feathers dive and set.
There's the big boy.
Hello.
Look on his face as each endures their fastest race, a fragment of the past. The purple heather moor is vast, his prey long-legged is darting.
In the show, there's lots of drone footage over various mountainscapes in Scotland, and it's quite dramatic, isn't it? With little close-up shots of mountain hares, and I don't think there's ever actual footage of an eagle, is there?
I don't think so, but the drone footage is
it's very like from a bird's eye view.
Yes, and up in the mountains and sky where I think that you can get. You still get golden eagles up there. Maybe white-tailed, I'm not sure.
was like you kind of doing a musical representation of the soaring of the eagle, wasn't it? Yeah, up on the thermals to get high up in the sky.
And I think Jason, when he adds in the actual sort of the caw, the clear call of the eagle is really effective.
Reverse dulcimer.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Last bit.
Yeah.
It's always really hard to do those ahs at the end. At the live gig, I'm nearly always falling over because I don't have enough breath.
There's lots. There's lots demanded of you at the end there because you have to come in much earlier than everybody else starts singing. Yeah. Yeah, you need some stamina, don't you? So
I think I'm losing that. It's disappearing vast quickly, the stamina.
But it all comes back later. So the next
when we get out to do the gigs again.
Oh yeah, one day soon.
We will.
So we've got Loch Carron Flame, which was written kind of as a lament from the white-fronted geese to the flame shells of Loch Carron, who were about 90% of the colony were destroyed from one dredge. So this was kind of all happening while I was writing this. And at the top of this, you'll hear Kerry Whiteside from Flora and Fauna UK, who is one of the tireless campaigners for all things marine and marine care. That's the white-fronted geese there.
Some synth, isn't it, that you're playing on this?
Yes, we said that it all turned quite nighttime on stage as well, didn't it? It was beautiful footage of the aurora, taken by Ivan Howick.
80 of us when we left off. Lost some astray.
And with the lights all coming on at different times.
And 3. We all trust we'll find a space. There's no fortune teller here. We have to believe we'll find a...
So when we're on tour, we have the marvellous Simon Gain, who's in charge of all the lighting, engineering and the set design, and he has quite a job because there's a lot of paraphernalia involved in this show as well, isn't there?
Yeah, what's going on to think about.
To find our way, and we'll be home by Saturday.
Essentially, the flame shell is about 4 centimetres wide, and it's just a little bivalve mollusk, but what it does is it builds a nest. So it sort of buries itself within the seabed into a little nest, but then within its nest, it sort of gets surrounded by other flame shell nests, and then all those nests form into a big biogenic reef. And then the biogenic reef is the basis of an ecosystem for invertebrates and young fish. So the young fish will use it for nursery grounds and for hunting grounds, and it takes decades, potentially hundreds of years, to build up these reefs of nests. And what happened in Loch Carron was that scallop dredger went into that area. It wasn't illegal. It was actually acting within the law, but within, if you think about it, minutes, he probably wrecked that site.
was lovely how generous people were with their information, wasn't it, for this project, and willing to chat to us and have their voices and information featured in the show and the CD.
Yeah, we've got some brilliant just knowledge and some brilliant local knowledge and brilliant expert knowledge along the way. Yeah, definitely learned a lot.
By Saturday, all these tears of mourning shed by shivering souls who flit and fled from our homeland, crushed and torn by storms of war none could forewarn. All the while our storm-bound sang, we bade goodbye, Loch Carron flame.
And you're on the Nord as well, Sarah, aren't you?
Yeah, in the gig, but Inge let me play the synth, other synth part in this. So I was in a fortress of keyboards, so it's ideal.
Ideal situation.
There's no Jason here though. I wonder what happened to Jason.
He maybe went out to get the coffees.
Yeah. Kind of morbid. On a happier note, there was another a part of the colony which didn't get destroyed, so there still is a relatively healthy colony of flame shells up there still.
Oh, the drone segue.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what happened in the drone segue? Lots of different things.
There was a lot of putting down and picking up instruments and
the Waxwings.
Oh yeah. This is one of my favourite little voice clips of the whole lot, I think.
It's brilliant.
But this song was written by you, wasn't it?
Yeah, Nomad. So about the Waxwings and the Redwings, which are kind of nomadic in the winter and travel to wherever the food is. And
I like the Waxwings because they're beautiful.
Every night of the tour, that would bring a tear to my eye. So perfect.
I think when you sent me the demo for this part was on guitar.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then we just put it on the piano, but it still retains the kind of Drake type thing.
Yeah. It works so well on the piano, this part. It's great.
Something in the air feels right. The being dark is clinging on.
Is that the kalimba as well?
Oh yeah.
The kalimba, yeah.
Daylight
Oh, and those noise, those little Jason sounds, just This is the murmuration.
Yes, that's right. It comes in and out of the murmuration, doesn't it? Into the Waxwings. So some beautiful footage of Henry Hindman from Fair Isle with Waxwings landed all over his arms and were eating apples out of his hands.
Gathering in our hundreds where we are bound.
Remember when I was living in Aberdeen? I'd recently moved to Aberdeen from Fair Isle, which is where this footage is from that Inge's talking about. And I was out ringing birds one morning and we caught a retrap of a bird which had been ringed on Fair Isle, and then had been ringed there a couple of days previously, and then we saw it in Aberdeen, and then I think the following week it was somebody had taken a photo of it in Wales. And it was just amazing to see this, this journey of this bird that.
Shelter like blood moving onto firmer ground. Gathering in our thousands where we are bound. We are bound. Heave a swell like water, tumbling, turning as one form. One moment there, another gone. We startle and make them turn. Make them turn.
So that's the red wing.
That's a slowed down red wing. Yeah. Sounds a bit like an owl.
It does, which is fitting because we go into the owls after this. Again, I loved how everything went black at the top of this.
Yeah, just felt like right, it's night time now.
Yeah.
Shift.
Yeah, and this was a
It's a Ural
it was
owl,
a Ural owl and a tawny, and then that was a goldeneye flying by. The whistle from the wings of a goldeneye flying by.
I think that's the nice thing about the bird calls. It's like they're the fifth band member, really. We wanted to make them quite prominent in the performance, but also in the recording.
There was a big statue of Athena, the goddess of wisdom, but there was lots of little owls and there was lots of predators as well that would eat the little owls. So the little owls, they nested in the statue, and the people thought that was very wise to get away from predators, and it was their goddess Athena, so that they considered owls wise, or little owls wise. They put them on coins, which is why we get heads and tails, the head of Athena and the tail of a little owl.
While I was mixing this, I had this brilliant situation this one night where I turned everything off, so I thought, and I could still hear the owl, I could still hear the tawny, and I was like, what? It must be coming through one of these other speakers, and I turned everything off, and then I thought, I'm going mad, and I went and I opened up the curtains of the window, and there was a tawny owl sitting outside glaring at me, so it's like he obviously heard...
Raging.
He was raging. Yeah, they're very territorial, so...
Yeah, kicking off.
In the cracks and fissures of the goddess herself, Athena protects us, will carry her wisdom, soft and silent.
Big flute.
It's not.
Oh, is it not?
Sorry. Absolutely good. I love the rhythmic kind of feel of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit of call and answer.
Predicting the dead child.
So nice to hear all the tracks again.
Souls, we are second sight souls. We see it all. We are watching. We are watching. We see it all. We live in the magic of moonlight and tragedy.
I love the idea of owls just like at night time just watching the shenanigans of all the everything else that's going on below them, just being like,
Yeah.
they're at it again.
Well, I wonder, because there's been much less in the way of vehicles on the road, and there's been loads less roadkill and things, so all the birds that kind of also survive on carrion must be feeling it. They have to up their game a wee bit, you'd think.
Yeah.
Ah, you got to love an owl though. So the last track, still going. The last track, still going. I must just check that it's not one just outside the window.
Yeah.
Hugin and Moonin. Tell us the story of Hugin and Moonin, then, Jenny.
So Hugin and Moonin were Odin's ravens, and they were called Hugin and Moonin, thought and memory. And I should have looked this up again before doing this listening club because I've kind of forgotten the story.
They were his eyes,
but I think, yeah, they were his eyes, and they used to fly around the world once a day, I think, and collecting gossip basically for Odin, and they gave him sort of second sight.
They were terrible clipes as well, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Yep. Sorry, it's a really bad telling of the story because I've sort of forgotten it.
So at the top of this, we've got Lauren, who is one of the workers over at the Owl Sanctuary, and she tells us a wee story about how she looked after a magpie when she was little. But really, this is for the ravens. It's for the corvids in general.
And it's another brilliant call from Magnus as well, isn't it? That he's recorded. Yeah,
there was lots of lot of heavy use of the bit crusher, if I remember rightly, for this track. Right.
Yeah.
And the original call, which features in it a bit as well, is I think because it recorded in thick snow or something, so it had an incredible sound quality to it because it was really sort of dampened sound, and they were kind of calling in different parts of. Yeah,
there's
quite
great
amazing.
distance in it too.
Our cat raided a magpie nest and brought a fledgling back, but he had destroyed its tail feathers. So me and my parents raised it until it had all its tail feathers in and released it back, and the parents actually came down to be with it and took it back up. So we knew it was still young enough to be taught what to do, but we'd actually gotten a chance to see this magpie grow up and live in our house, and we'd fed it, and then it was released back in, and it hung about the garden for a little bit with its parents, and then when it was old enough it went away and did its own thing. People don't really understand what they're about, but they are very intelligent. But in other mythology, you get things like Hugin and Moonin, which are
one of my favourite birds.
Ravens.
They're so smart.
We see them quite a lot on the hill behind our house, and they do quite a lot of barrel rolling, so flying upside down for brief seconds of time, and they obviously just love getting to fly about.
Oh, and love the updrift off the side of a cliff. Amazing. You were whanging the dulcimer, weren't you, with a stick, with a drumstick?
Great for getting your anger out.
It's a sheer goth. I love it.
Finally.
I feel at home.
I just wanted to write something that was quite powerful and did them justice in a way. They're so clever birds.
Across the world on daily flights, they search and hear, recount and learn. Tales about
Yes.
That was Tim Matthews' bass synth thing, the pocket piano.
Yeah, that's right. It was just a little wee synth, wasn't it?
Yeah, packs a punch.
Yeah.
Hounds and ravens, shape-shifting guardian souls. They speak in tongues, a gift from gods, the spirit form, an earthly guide.
Oh, and there's this brilliant tune in this one as well that you wrote, Inge.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, sorry. It's another 2 flute number, I believe, is it?
I believe it is.
Medium flutes.
Medium flutes.
Yeah.
2 medium flutes. Playing the same thing. And then stopping.
Ancient, revered, and bold. Fingered wings outstretched, they reach over mountain moon.
I love this bit where that tune comes in. It's like,
Yeah, I like it when Jason kicks in with this solid, repetitive beat.
The point in joyful barrel rolling flight.
I'd quite like to do this at a gig sometime where we can have a mosh pit.
Yeah, that could be arranged.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Or like a dance tent or something. I think that'd be great crack.
We would have to only play this number.
In the park?
No other numbers. Just play it 45 minutes. There's some really fantastic noises from Jason in here.
Yeah. Lovely, beautiful notes that you're playing on the flute. It's like the little ornaments. And...
That's Sarah.
It's a double flute. We're in this together. Oh yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the As.
And of course the Raven will take it.
Get the final word.
The last word.
Quite right. So we will go and play this all again live. Just not this year.
Next year. July and then September, I think, next year. It'd be nice to see you guys again for that.
It'll be lovely to see you in the flesh and also with Jason too.
In real life.
Yeah.